crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning. Bix Weir, roadroo.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of nothing this morning. Water. Yeah, I'm trying to lose a little weight and getting off caffeine. That's scary. Doesn't feel good in the morning. Yesterday I posted this video. Go to roadroo.com. You'll find the latest videos. Will Buffett buy $137 billion worth of silver to save his shareholders? It has long been my contention that Buffett was working with the good guys behind the scenes. Yes, I know he's the outspoken, vocal, anti-gold bug. We also know Buffett bought about 130 million ounces of physical silver in the late 90s. I think he was working with the good guys on that one, but hey, he knows about silver. He understands what a good investment silver is. It wasn't until the bad guys came in and took his silver that he divested it in the early 2000s. And the reason he had to divest of it is they were going to throw him in jail for another company. He owned General Re that had done some shitty things behind the scenes, and they could have stuck Buffett in jail for it. So what did he do? He gave the bad guys the silver. Bad guys took the silver and created SLV, the ETF of silver, and voila, he was out of silver. I have been saying for a very long time, probably over 5 or 6 years, that Buffett was going to be a participant in the end game for the good guys. And I always thought it would be that he'd buy silver. And he still may. He still may, absolutely. But, but take a look at where the economy, where the stock market is. Remember, Buffett saved the 2008 crash. After the crash, he came in and started buying stock and say, hey, everybody buy stocks, and voila, we got an 11-year bull market. Now that is ending. Buffett is now saying the exact opposite. He is saying the exact opposite. From Zero Hedge, brace for Monday massacre. Buffett liquidates all airline holdings as Berkshire sees another leg lower. Buffett is working to destroy the economic system. Now, people have said, no, he's working for the bad guys. He's working for the bad guys. Trump's the good guy. I think they're all working together. Hang on a second. Yeah, COVID, I don't know. No, it's allergies maybe. I haven't had the test. I refuse to take the test. Who knows what they put on the testing thing. So I am chagaing up. Liposomal C, chaga, D3, everything. I'm taking everything. But anyway, so Buffett is now saying he's going to sell everything. Nobody, no trader out there would ever admit to their position beforehand, unless they're trying to do it for a reason. Yes, he's going to be destroying the economic system. How can he do that? Well, one, he could buy silver. It might be coming later. But first, these are the shares he's going to sell. Look at all these. I mean, this portfolio is gigantic. $71 billion worth of Apple is what Berkshire Hathaway holds. $35 billion of Bank of America, $22 billion of Coca-Cola. This goes down the line. This is the market, basically. He owns it all. And he's basically saying in this article, in his annual, get together with the Berkshire Hathaway people, that he's getting out of everything. And last time that got a huge swath of investors to buy. When he said buy, we're at the lows, everybody bought, the stock market went up, and it was good. Now he's saying the opposite. Monday is going to be ugly, most likely. Yes, he does have that kind of pull. But that's the question. Why would the stock market drop just because one guy says it's no good, it's going to crash? Right here, stocks keep rallying despite lack of visibility on the economy. Investors say they are flying in the dark as the dispersion of dispersion of earnings estimates reaches its highest since 2009. Basically, there's no confidence in the market. You got Steve Mnuchin rigging the stock market every day, but there's no confidence in it. But people aren't getting out. That's the key. People weren't getting out because Steve Mnuchin kept rigging it higher. What's going to happen this week, the next week? When Buffett's saying, oh, it's massively overhyped, overblown, what about when second quarter earnings come out? They are going to be destructive. Totally. We want to get to second quarter earnings. Go to roadtoroad.com. Check out my timeline on the private road. Check out the timeline. I'll talk about that in a second. But here's a great article from Peak Prosperity, Chris Martinson's site. Survey results. He hired this firm to do survey. COVID-19 is changing the way America lives, works, and votes. So this is a data of 3,500 American adults. And check out these three key findings. Number one, COVID-19 is an existential threat to business and jobs. Despite quick and widespread layoffs and furloughs to cut costs, many companies fear they may not survive much longer. And those that do don't plan to hire back the same number of workers they've let go. Half of respondents report a cut in income during COVID-19. Social distancing lasted until October. More than 36% of the U.S. Small businesses don't believe they will survive. Number two, COVID-19 is pinching budgets, reducing savings, and spoiling retirement. Yes, people are dipping into their savings just to survive right now. And the third big one, COVID-19 has resulted in so much loss of voter trust that it may cost Trump the presidency. Yes, I think COVID-19 was a bad guy bioweapon that was released. Yes, they lie about the numbers in the U.S. to try to destroy the economy. But at the same time, it ain't going away. And Trump knows his strongest point for the re-election was that the economy was doing so well. No matter if you rigged it or not. That's what his take was. Economy's doing so great. What happens if Trump doesn't think he's going to make it in the next election? He won't lose to Biden. They're going to replace Biden at the convention. But what happens? Trump will pull the trigger finally. It may be a great thing if Trump doesn't get elected. Why? Because he'll pull the trigger and arrest the bad guys. Because he said, hey, this is my one shot. This is America's one shot. 73% of the people say they trust the federal government less than the beginning. Federal government needs to be disbanded. Same with state and local governments. There's 33 million people working for the government, directly or indirectly. That's way too much. Should be 3,300, maximum 33,000. There's 33 million. It's insane. They print money like it's going out of style to pay for it. Because the federal government is not a revenue generator. You can tell that by the post office. All they can do is print money and tax you. Here's additional findings. This is the big one in my life. Personal life in the age of COVID, caution is king. It will take a long time for Americans' life to return to normal, as people plan to refrain from many common activities for months at least after the lockdown is lifted. And in a number of cases, even after a vaccine is widely available. And this is the survey. Dining out, 53% won't be comfortable going to a sit-down dinner for at least 3 months after social distancing ends. And social distancing won't end for probably a couple years. 38% will wait at least 5 months, and 24% won't dine out until there's a vaccine. Gyms, 57% of gym goers will wait 3 or more months before returning to after social distancing. Sporting events, 44% won't attend a live game until a vaccine is issued. 63% of these people will wait at least another 3 months after the vaccine is out to attend. Air travel, 36% who took at least one international flight in 2019 will not fly internationally again until a vaccine is available. Cruise ships, 22% of avid cruise goers say they'll never take a cruise again. 65% will wait till at least there's a vaccine. Casinos, 45% don't plan to go until a vaccine is available. 35% of these people will wait at least 6 months after the vaccine before going. Remember, all these industries, companies have fixed costs that they have to pay. The costs keep going and racking up and racking up. Many people are taking extensions on when their rents are due. But then after the rents are due, they got to pay it all back. Where do they get the income if they haven't been earning money? And here's a good sign. COVID-19 vaccine becomes available, Americans will not rush in to get it. 52% said they will wait at least 6 months after the vaccine's released to take it. 29% plan on never taking it at all. I'm in that. I'm not going to take a vaccine that these guys make. No way. Now here's some really interesting stuff. Think Theta. Think Theta tokens. Decentralized broadband. On the home front, frazzled parents had to determine on the fly how best to bend, break, and completely redraw home rules during this age of forced lockdown. 49% of American parents have relaxed TV watching. 40% have purchased games and activities to occupy their children. 39% are encouraging additional online education. 27% are alternating work hours with their spouse in order to engage with their children. 18% are simply working fewer hours in order to be able to do so. Given the sharp market drop and subsequent damage to the economy, Americans are now more likely to invest in less, quote, paper assets and more hard assets. American investors plan to reduce their exposure to the stock market by 15%. I think that's baloney. I think they're going to reduce it by 100%. 47% plan to increase their portfolio's exposure to gold. A portfolio can't be exposed to gold unless you take that physical gold and you stick it in your house. Stick it in your hiding place. Don't stick it at the bank safe deposit box. Exposure to gold is not GLD. Exposure to gold is not owning mining stocks. Those are all fake assets, rehypothecated fake assets. Stressed out households are seeking comfort in cannabis. Consumption is increasing among marijuana smokers in lower income households. Marijuana smokers earning less than $100,000 are 50% more likely to have increased cannabis consumption. There you go. Open your pot store. Nearly half of the report, or more of their company's employees are currently working from home. 80% expect these newly adopted tools to be used permanently by their businesses going forward. Wow. So of the 50% of people who are working from home, 80% of those companies, so 80% of the 50%, 40% overall, 40% overall expect these newly adopted tools to be used permanently by their business. 83% agree or strongly agree that these tools will result in greater flexibility to work from home after COVID-19. It could hit again. It probably will. Working from home has resulted in gains in personal satisfaction and career introspection among managers and employees. Nearly half of American managers report a better work-life balance. 36% of American employees report better work-life balance. 57% of American corporate managers say they are going to prioritize job meaning versus money more highly for their next professional role. Really interesting. The world is changing, and then on Monday we're probably gonna have some slaughter. Now, in the pre-open, the pre-trading, expect Steve Mnuchin to try to bump the stock market. This is a big day for old Stevie Boy and his computer program. Keep an eye on that. But Buffett is not stopping. Buffett is going to take this to the end. Here's an op-ed he wrote in 2010 after the crash, and they decided, okay, we're gonna create an artificial bull market for another 10 years. Buffett wrote an opinion piece in the New York Times praising the government. Dear Uncle Sam, my mother told me to send you a thank you notes promptly. I've been remiss. Let me remind you why I'm writing. Just over 2 years ago in September 2008, our country faced an economic meltdown. Fannie and Freddie, the pillars that supported our mortgage system, had been forced into conservatorship. Several of our largest banks were teetering. One of Wall Street's giant investment banks had gone bankrupt, and the remaining three were poised to follow AIG, the world's most famous insurer, was at death's door. Many of our largest companies, dependent on commercial paper, had disappeared. We were weeks away from exhausting their cash resources. Indeed, all the corporate America's dominoes were lining up, ready to topple at lightning speed. My own company, Berkshire Hathaway, might have been the last to fall, but the distraction provided little solace. And he goes through all the problems. And he says, hey, thank you for fixing it. I don't know how precisely you orchestrate. He talks about when the crisis struck, I felt you would understand the role you had to play. But you've never been known for speed. And in the meltdown, minutes matter. I worried whether the barrage of shattering surprises would disorient you. You would have to improvise solutions on the run, stretch legal boundaries, and avoid slowdowns like congressional hearings and studies. You would also need to get turf-conscious departments to work together in mounting your comeback. The challenge was huge, and many thought you were not up to it. Well, Uncle Sam, you delivered. People will second-guess your specific decisions. You can always count on that. But just as there was a fog of war, there was a fog of panic, and overall your actions were remarkably effective. I don't know precisely how you orchestrated these, but I have had a pretty good seat as events unfolded, and I would like to commend a few of your troops. In the darkest days, Ben Bernanke, Hank Paulson, Tim Geithner, Sheila Bair grasped the gravity of the situation and acted with courage and dispatch. And though I never voted for George W. Bush, I'll give him credit for leading even as Congress postured and squabbled. You have been criticized, Uncle Sam, for some earlier decisions that got us into this mess, most predominantly for battling the rot, not battling the rot built up in the housing market. But then few of your critics saw matters clearly either. In truth, most all of the country became possessed by the idea that home prices could never fall significantly. Now, he's saying all this as a thank you in 2010, and now what is he saying? What is Trump saying right now? He's saying sell, sell, sell. Quote, I think there are certain industries, and unfortunately, I think the airline industry among others, that are really hurt by a forced shutdown by events that are far beyond our control. I don't know what, when we bought airlines, we were getting an attractive amount for our money when investing across the airlines. It turned out I was wrong about the business because of something that was not in any way the fault of the CEOs. Believe me, no joy of being a CEO of an airline. I don't know that 3 to 4 years from now, people will fly as many passengers as they did last year. You've got too many planes. He's just dumping on the airline industry, and then he says he's dumping on everybody for saying, hey, these stock buybacks, you shouldn't do it. Buffett's saying, yeah, you should. You got the money, give it back to the shareholders, which is basically a big part of what Buffett invests for, obviously getting money. And now he's saying the exact opposite. He's saying everything. There's going to be crazy things being said about buybacks. Buybacks are so simple. It's a way of distributing cash to shareholders, especially when that shareholder is Warren Buffett. The Oracle then noted that share repurchase programs should be executed in a price and needs-sensitive manner, but, quote, when the conditions are right, it should be obvious to repurchase shares, and there shouldn't be the slightest taint to it any more than there is to dividends. Yeah, they're not going to do share buybacks. One, they don't have the money, but two, it's gotten a shitty reputation. And that's what is Buffett going to do? He's going to leave. So, where did I get my original thoughts on Buffett from a movie? Another remake of a Wizard of Oz movie that parodies what was going on at the time. It's called Oz the Great and Powerful. Look at the main character. I did a full analysis on the Private Road. All you Private Road members, go to an article, do the search in the function Oz the Great and Powerful. and you'll get my notes on it. And in the end, what happens in the end? Of course, the Wicked Witch is killed by silver. But the Buffett character is Oscar Diggs. Oscar Diggs. Really interesting analysis, but that gave me a hint. And then I did a lot of research into Warren Buffett's father, Howard Buffett. And I read Buffett's biography. Buffett idolized his father. His father was a true American who wanted to beat the banking cabal and go back onto a gold standard in the 40s. He was a senator from Omaha, from Nebraska, I think. I think he was a senator from Nebraska. Howard Buffett. Read his Senate speech on gold. It'll blow your mind. Yes, that is. Warren Buffett's father, and Warren Buffett idolized his father. So yes, I do think Buffett in the background is working. Anyway, moving on. I am now giving away 100 Theta and 100 Theta fuel and a silver coin. This giveaway won't last long. Theta's already moved up the chart and is right here, number 49. Just broke the 50 mark, up 25% in the last 7 days. I think Theta has a hell of a long way to go up. Decentralized broadband. It's going to be huge in the future. Anyway, if you want to join the private road, I will ship to your front door 1 silver Ruda coin, the coolest coin ever made. There's Ruda jumping up and down in complete glee because they killed the bankers, the system gets rebooted, and there's the cave of gold in the side of the Grand Canyon. And each is individually numbered and double stamped. And you get a paper wallet loaded with 100 Theta and 100 Theta fuel. That's for the private road membership. It's $2.99 for a year. Less than $1 a day. Go to roadtoruda.com, hit subscribe today. It'll take you to this page, and then you hit buy now. It's that easy. That's all I got for you today. You guys be safe. It's going to be an ugly, ugly week next week. Hang on tight as the good guys are going to take out the bad guys. Also, I do have on the private road area, I have posted the Ruda's 2020 woo-woo timeline. This was the hardest timeline I ever did. Why? Because we've never, ever, ever been through what we're going to go through between now and the end of it. Never. So it's going to be insane, and this woo-woo timeline is insane. But I think it's how it's going to go down, and you're going to scratch your head and say, what the hell? But check it out. That's on the private road. This is Bix. You guys have a good one.